always just trying to get me, I don't know, into some kind of argument to make me look crazy. Like, they've been going out of their way, all of them, for the past couple of weeks, to try to find a way to get me to tell a lie so that they can all sue me with defamation of character. That's what this whole thing with Talib is about. I don't know. I guess they got their own behind the scenes class action action. Let's catch Jag in a lie so we can finally sue her and shut her up, since she don't want no money, and since threatening her life doesn't seem to scare her. People been threatening my life my whole life. I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere until God is ready for me to go somewhere. I work for him. I'm on his payroll. So if you don't, if you got a problem with the job he gave me, then you need to take it up with God. I've been telling people this from gate. I had a nervous breakdown. Started nursing myself back to health, but I could not sing. I lost my voice. I couldn't remember lyrics. And God came to me. He came to me and said, if you want your voice back, you have to do what I told you to do. You've been ignoring it. You have to do what I told you to do. This is your job. So I'm not going to share everything that I know and that I believe, because I don't have to. Personally, I've been trying to take the approach of just leading by action and letting people figure it out as they go along. But see, that's the problem with disinformation. When people start throwing trolls in, like Michelle Trotter, to create an argument or create something, it starts twisting everything. So in order for me to keep things clean and integral, which I have agreed to do, and I've been waiting, because everyone say, oh, wait for the big interview, and you know what? Fuck the big interview. I am the interview. It doesn't matter if Wendy Williams does it or if Angie Martinez does it. All they do is jack my IG content and post it up on YouTube anyway. All I ask is that all of the people that love me, that know me, that have worked with me, since y'all see all these people out here getting all of these views and getting these checks from YouTube off of me, why don't you just release some of my content? I don't even want any money. Just go get your bread. Like, if you got unreleased footage that you know is hot, that the world wants to see right now, then just release it. Let me be clear about this. I'm a total anarchist right now. I'm angry with the establishment. I'm angry for the part that I played in building it, which is how I know that I got to tear it down. See, this industry has been screwed up for a very, very, very long time, but one consistent theme has been, actually there's been three consistent things. The first thing is, people of color are never appreciated. Completely. They're just never, it just never happens. No matter how good we are, no matter how much we play along, no matter what we do, you could become president as President Obama. You could become president and they're still going to find a way to make you feel lesser because of your color. So that's number one. Number two, women have been treated like prostitutes forever. We're expected to sleep with the men. We're expected to not have anything to say about it. We're expected to think that it's okay to be treated like meat just so you can get yourself put into a position where you can have something. Like, that's what people do. I mean, shout out to Dr. Dre for talking about diabetes. I've been talking about diabetes for a long time. Diabetes is a big killer in a lot of African American families. Part of the reason why I started, losing weight, because I'm getting older now, and I got to think about that. In my family, people go on the needle. They either go on the pill or go straight to the needle. They get on the needle, then they start driving nails up people's arms, and then they start cutting things off, and then people die. It's really simple. If you don't want to die, you got to live right. So let me tell you why I want to destroy the industry. Oh yeah, and the third thing is that women never get paid what they're supposed to get paid. Like, never. Even the women that get paid, they still don't get paid as good as the men. So, I mean, that is pretty much standard across the board in the United States when it comes to careers at all. Got you. In North Philly all day. So, first things first, I want to address Talib Kweli. I just dropped him my direct number in the DM. I said we can keep this all social media if you like, or you can just come on here and go live with me and we can have this conversation since you want so much attention. And I can explain to you in your face. See, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. All of these people that you hear me talking about, all they do is talk about people behind each other's backs. They backstab each other, look for ways to block people, all of that. See, the biggest problem with me in this game is that I've never been worried about money. Like, I don't think about money like other people think about money. Money is nothing but a tool. What I do know is that if I use my matter correctly, I can generate as much money as I want whenever I need. Yeah, so when you have as many skills and abilities as a person as myself, you're not going to be so desperate and thirsty for a music check. It's just not going to happen. I've always been the kind of person to hold out for what I thought was right for me, regardless of how much money I was being offered or not. Mostly because I'm a Christian, but the other part is just because I understand the business. The second that you get into their pockets, the second that they got you in their pocket, they're going to do whatever they got to do to try to keep you in their pocket. You know, it's that's just the nature of the beast. They don't want you to feel like you have any options. They want you to feel like they are your only option. They want you to believe that you'll never be able to make it without them. That if you don't sleep with everybody, or if you don't do this, or if you don't do that. Now, have I ever had to screw a producer for a track? Absolutely not. But I have been screwed over by a lot of guys in the industry. And they might say the same about me. Because the truth is, I was cruel when I was younger. I was cruel. I was terrible. I was absolutely traumatized by life. Traumatized by men. Became bisexual. Morning, mister. I fell in love with a woman. She was beautiful. I wasn't expecting to fall in love with her, but she was the first person that made me feel like I wasn't a rape victim. Period. I will not say her name. It's been over 20 years since she passed. And, you know, it's just sad. She was a beautiful woman. She was a model. I was going to be her assistant. And when she got a big contract, she was going to, you know, pay for all my demos. And I was going to be a famous artist, and she was going to be a famous model, and we were going to live happily ever after, and pray to God that one day, you know, being out and proud wasn't, you know, such a crazy thing. She slept with the wrong photographer. Got AIDS. It turned into a cold that never went away, and I watched her die. Now, all these years later, all you got to do is take a pill and you can save everybody's life. Where was that pill 20 years ago? Where was that pill in the 80s when my uncle died from AIDS? That's a whole lot to digest as a young woman, and especially when you're trying to figure yourself out. And what I learned is that love is love. That's what I learned. Someone comes into your life and they love you. They love you. It wasn't until after all of this time, being married to my husband, that I can honestly say that I trust love again. Because I stopped trusting and believing in love a long time ago. The music industry will make you do that, you know. Like when you look at relationships like Tariq Trotter and Michelle Trotter. Now here you got an up-and-coming MC and, you know, a great band, and they were becoming legendary and all of that. And he had aspirations to be in Hollywood and to be an actor. She was a professional girlfriend. Before Tariq, she was with Russell Simmons. I mean, if you look at Michelle Trotter and you look at Kimora Lee Simmons, They look very similar. You know, Russell has a type. But for whatever reason, he fired Michelle, and then he married Kimura. So, you know, her and Sanaa Lathan are best friends. I don't know what either one of them were looking to get out of their relationship. But clearly what it isn't is love. I cannot believe that there's love there. Any woman that's that desperate to get on someone's social media page who was actually looking out for you, boo. I was looking out for you. While Tariq was out at the store, I was in the kitchen. I was making the green beans. You had just done the sonogram. You had the 3D. I was complaining about the fact that I had just had Sam before it came out, and I wish that I had, the 3D sonogram, and you had Celia, and we all looked at her and we saw her, and it was in that moment that I knew I couldn't keep doing the foolishness I had been doing with him, because you were really banking on a future. Now, I didn't like the way you came into the picture, but it wasn't your fault. The way he broke up with Reese is the way he broke up with everybody, which is why me and Tariq were never in a relationship. See, that's what people don't understand. Me and Tariq were very close, but we were never in a relationship. I would never go into a relationship with a guy like him. I know what he does, and I know what I do. You know what I'm saying? When you love someone and you care about someone, you don't put them in positions where they can hurt you or make you upset. I wasn't going to put Reek in that position. I knew he couldn't help but be who he was. And the only thing that I could do was love him and be the best friend that I could possibly be for him. By telling him the truth. You called me to the studio in the middle of the night, Reek. I came because I thought it was an emergency. Because at that time, you could have called me at any time of the day, and I'd have been anywhere to have your back. Me and you stood on top of a building, many stories high, fighting a bunch of dudes together. Like me. I was the one in it. I was there first. You came up to back me up. And we stood shoulder to shoulder and we fought together. We fought for a lot of things together once upon a time. But the second that I started requiring you to be a better adult, a better man, a better person, you got all of these kids, and finally you had a woman that was pregnant with your child who wanted to live in the same home with you, that wanted to be with you, that wanted to get married, and I'm like, okay, you have messed over all these other people. Start here. Get it right here. Get it good here. Jag, I don't know if he's going to marry me. He's going to marry you, Michelle. He loves you, Michelle. He loves that baby. This is what he needs. Is what I said to you, Michelle, in the kitchen in LA when Reek still had that Porsche Cayenne. You remember? I made the green beans on the stove. I seared the green beans. I think we got them from Whole Foods. Like, don't sit up here and pretend like we weren't a part of each other's lives. Now, whether or not your family, Michelle, was at the wedding or not, that has nothing to do with me. I don't know your family. But me and Reek were family. So for me to not be included, but you include that fake lion-ass bitch Jill for optics because you wanted Jill Scott at your wedding and not Jaguar Wright, who wasn't as famous as Jill Scott, who got famous pretending to be me, which is so funny. So funny. But then you get on my page and, oh, he's not worried about you. He's not thinking about you. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But not because of the personal issues. He's worried about what I'm going to force into existence. Like I said before, I cannot speak on what happened to Flo Brown on that bus because I was not on that bus. They made sure I wasn't on that bus that night. But she disclosed to a few people about what happened to her on that bus, and when she got off that bus, she was never the same. Now, all I did was tell a story about something that Common did to me years ago. You know what I mean? I handled it. We moved on. I'm about to repost a picture just from a couple of years ago. I seen it right here in Dallas with RC over at Sandaga. We took the picture together. Me, him, RC. I wasn't looking for no beef. I wasn't looking for no hate. But the fake shit has to end. The line stepping has to end. The falsehood has to end. You guys created these very, very, very false realities that you sold to the public, and now you are a slave to them. I am trying to set you free so you can actually be the artist that you were intended and meant to be, rather than the press releases that you had. Like, I don't understand how people ain't getting it. It's been almost a month. I've been whipping their asses online. They all got PR agents. I know for a fact Common paid good money for his publicist. The Roots, good money for their publicist. NBC got a publicist, good money. Like, they got all of these PR reps, and you're telling me that they haven't been able to find a way to spin this other than to get Dice to call me a liar on Twitter with no real facts or anything, and to get Talib to ask people to pray for me because I'm mentally ill. Like, that's y'all spin? That's the best you got? These people are paying you thousands of dollars a month to outthink people like me, and yet you can't do it. Now, I'm going to tell you how I've been able to do everything that I've done. And it's not magic. I just study the algorithms. I watch how people post. I watch what they do. Like, all of the stuff that they're paying people to do, the thousands of dollars that they're paying people to do, I'm doing it all for free at home, in my office. All for free. I haven't spent not $1 on publicity at all. None. So why are y'all people paying thousands of dollars to these people that can't outthink me? Little old me. It sounds like you're wasting your money maintaining lies. Because the truth is, the reason why your press agents can't outthink me is because they can't figure out where I'm going to pop up next. They can't figure out what I'm going to say next. Because, see, I remember the truth that y'all forgot. See, y'all done so much crazy stuff, and so much screwing, so much lying, so much. You forgot how many lies you told. You forgot how much crazy stuff you did. See, I didn't. I was never lying. I was never lying. I might have omitted a few details. I might not have told everybody everything about me, but you're not supposed to. Not in this industry, because all they do is use it against you. So, you know, you spending all of this money for these lies. I got to live in the truth. And the truth is, I sit back and I look at the state of music. I look what's happening right now. And we wonder why these kids is all screwed up. I lost my son. We lost Mac Miller. We lost Nipsey Hussle. We lost Xtacion. How many other MCs have died recently?
Pop Smoke.
Pop Smoke.
Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD. And I mean, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. They are losing titans in the early stage of the game. So forget about reunion concerts. Forget about 20th anniversary concerts. These people are never going to see it. They're dead. That's our fault. What's happening now with the millennial generation and the generation after that, that's on us. Because we some whack-ass old heads. We are. We haven't gotten involved enough. We haven't done enough. No, everybody's so worried about their press releases. And then Malik B passes away. One of the greatest things that ever happened in hip-hop passes away. And nobody knows what he was famous for. It's just like me coming down here and not really knowing who Pimp C is. Like, it's awful. Because what Pimp C meant to Texas was like what KRS meant to New York. You know what I mean? So how don't I know that? And it's because there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between the generations. There's a disconnect between the genres. There's a disconnect between the races. There's a disconnect between the sex. And see, people don't understand that segregation and all of this stuff, it creates more money for other people, but it doesn't do anything for the public. It does nothing for you guys. It does nothing for you. Them maintaining all of their lives, them keeping all of the stuff that they got going, how is that benefiting the public? How is that benefiting art? It's not. You know, the truth is the reason why people really don't want to speak is because nobody wants to go to jail for sexual assault. Because, see, there's no more statute of limitation on rape and sexual assault. They want to do all of this and they want to say all of these things to get you away from the fact that I want to know what happened to Flo Brown on that bus. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people that want to know what happened to Flo Brown on that bus. The only people that know were the people on the bus. And that's the Roots crew, whoever was there and involved at that time. Because it was always ever-changing. And Flo Brown. She knows what happened to her. But if there was any kind of sexual assault going on that bus, see, what happens is whoever perpetrated it is going to do 5 years. And then whoever helped cover it up and save the person that did it is an accessory after the fact. All I did was study legal journals and stuff while I was in jail, fighting my case for a crime I didn't commit, which is why all my charges were dismissed. I had plenty of time to study the law. Do you honestly think they want to be ushered off of television in handcuffs for rape, for sodomy, for sexual assault, for unlawful detainment? Because these are the list of charges that come along with what I was told happened on that bus. Of course you want to make me look crazy, because you know what I'm after. If y'all harm that woman, that beautiful young woman who came to us pure in every sense of the word, she was a 24-year-old virgin. She was pure, every sense of the word, gift from God. And she was never the same after she got off that bus. And then her best friend says she disclosed to her and Malik. And Malik was the only one of the Roots that was there for her. You know, trying to erase his legacy. Throwing his award in the trash with my promotional photo. My promotional photo. The very first promotional photo that we took. It was the prototype for all the rest of them. It was the only one that had the red insignia for my name. It was in the OK Player office. Last I saw it. Malik's award was in the office. People at the office were instructed not to give Malik his award because he was selling for drugs, which is total hogwash. Because if he was the kind of guy that would have taken his award to sell his award, why wouldn't he have just robbed the studio? He would have got more money off of robbing the equipment in the studio. Like, if he was that kind of dude, he would have never been let in the studio. If he was the kind of guy to just take things and rob them and steal them. He wasn't a thief. He wasn't a bum. So imagine how his family felt when I told them that it came to me from the trash. Whoever anonymously brought it to me and contacted me got it out the trash with my picture after the funeral. Now, considering that the award, I'm assuming up until that point, was still in the OK Player office leading up to the funeral. After Malik died, they could have easily just, said, we fucked up, we made a mistake, we should have gave him his award. You know what? Let's just tell his mom we found it. Let's bring it. Let's give it to her at the funeral. They went to the viewing. Even though they didn't stay for the service, they went to the viewing. They could have presented the family with that award then, but instead it made its way for the trash. Let's see. The trash. Malik B's Grammy Hero Award. To the trash with my picture. I guess they wanted to get rid of all evidence that we ever existed, or at least get rid of all responsibility. Yeah, I'm angry. Yeah, I'm angry. They waited for the funeral to pass, and then they threw my poster and Malik's award away. Just gonna erase it all like it never happened. How do you do that to somebody you say you loved? How do you do that to somebody who you say you care and whatever? Y'all care so much that y'all didn't make sure that Umi got that award. No, you threw it in the trash. The only reason Umi's going to get it is because I'm going to make sure she does. Otherwise, it would have been in a landfill somewhere in Pennsylvania. I didn't save it, but I'm sure I'm going to keep it for safekeeping and bring it to her. But I want to show these MCs down here. I want them to see it. I want them to see why knowing who Malik B is so important. While they teach me about who's important down here. We got to bridge these gaps. It's too much separation for nothing. You got to do something different. But since Talib had so much to say when he jumped on my page, and he's so thirsty for attention online after he got kicked off and banned from Twitter for harassing that young woman. Shout out to that young woman. I'm probably going to put some money on your books for the GoFundMe. Talib never put no money on my book when I was in jail. No letter either. And no phone call when my son died. Or just anything. Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, after decades and decades of defamation of character against me, with people lying, saying that I was this, saying I was that, and then people meeting me, oh, you're nothing like what I heard. I know what you heard. I know who you heard it from. Consider the source. That's all I can say. Consider the source. So, let me give you the long and short of me and Talib Green. Y'all all know he's a stalker. Like I said, I didn't find out that he had been peeping Tom on me in the green room at the wetlands until he admitted it to me. And I asked other people, and they said, actually, I asked my manager, Rich, and he was like, yeah. He was like, but Jag, I didn't think you would mind. He was like, you're always so provocative. You're half naked on stage anyway sometimes. And it was funny because it was after that moment it's when I changed the way I dressed on stage. I used to wear very provocative things, see-through dresses, and you know what I mean? Like I was real superhero with it. You know what I mean? Just really graphic novel. Excuse me, I've been at work since 2 a.m. and I got to take a nap and go back to work. I work for myself, but I'm a slave driver. I kill myself. So, I mean, I don't know who this is. I'll call you back. But yeah, so, I mean, we went through everything we went through. Tina Ferris, you know, while we was on the road, called my ex-husband, told him that me and Talib was having an affair. My ex-husband flies out. We go through all of that. I mean, we kind of just skipped past that. You know, me and him didn't really have no problems. It was just, we just moved forward. It was easy to do. Everybody's on the road. You know what I mean? We bump into each other at festivals or shows or, you know, industry events. And, you know, after a year or two, it doesn't matter so much anymore. They're doing what they're doing. You're doing what you're doing. So keep it moving. But Talib and I had a moment where we started kind of kicking it as friends again. And, you know, he was always attracted to me. And I thought he was cute in a, you know, schoolboy kind of way. But yeah, it wasn't going to work out. Like, it wasn't going to happen. Like, every time I thought about him running from my ex-husband, it just gave me the heebie-jeebies, and I'm like, I can't do it. So, not long after that, I met a guy at a party. I was there, Common was there, you know, some of the Roots crew was there, the Mateen boys were there. Like, there was a lot of people around at this party, and I met a guy, and his name was Juju. We exchanged phone numbers. He told me he knew Kweli. He didn't tell me he was Kweli's best friend. He started kicking it. I liked him. Like I said, Juju looked just like T.I., except he was tall. He was like 6'2", 6'3". Tip more like 5'8", 5'9". And I was like, ooh, a tall T.I.? Oh my God. And so we started dating, and a couple of weeks in, we were laying down together, and he like admitted the oddest thing to me, and he said, I want to apologize to you. And I'm like, for what? What do you need to apologize to me for? We good. And he said, I'm not going to lie. The night that I met you, I was supposed to meet you. It wasn't just a coincidence. And I'm like, what do you mean it wasn't a coincidence? He was like, Talib asked me to see whether or not, I could pull you. I was like, oh, really? Now, I had to sing America the Beautiful for the Phillies that day. And so I had to go to the baseball park when Juju was telling me all of this. And I'm like, wow, you dropping this bomb on me before I got to go sing at the stadium? So basically how it worked was he was supposed to see if he could get my phone number, and if I agreed to date him, then that would be considered a win. And then the bet got even crazier. And then it all came down to who could make me feel better, who had the magic touch with me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what y'all niggas do. You sit around and make bets on who can get whose person into bed and what you can do. Like, this is what y'all niggas do in the background. And he was like, no, he funny like that. Da, 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 da. And I know Kweli had a problem with me seeing Juju, and I continued to see Juju after that. Juju became loyal. But then it just all became so messy. It didn't have any integrity. So that was that. And me and Juju didn't last for that long. It was just after him admitting to me, and I appreciated him admitting to me that he and Kweli made a little bet about, who could get the job done better with me. Like, it kills trust. Because if you'll make a deal on my life for foolishness, can I really count on you when serious things come around, And that was what Talib did. And I was done after that. I was just like, you know what? Yeah, you're a mess. And I'm going to leave you in your mess. So it doesn't surprise me that he's doing all the things that he's doing. I mean, it's clear he has a pattern. So does Black Thought, though. So does Amir. So do most men in the music industry. They have patterns. And that's what we have to, as women, find a way to tilt the scales a little bit. Create a little more equality. We got to start being more loyal to each other. We got to start treating words like they mean what they say they mean. I'm talking about Juju. You know Juju. Juju run ball. Juju look like a tall T.I. Light skin like T.I. and everything. Fine as hell. Juju used to come down to New Jersey when I was living in South Jersey. I used to come up to New York. Matter of fact, the last time I saw Juju, we stayed at the Micro something. It was like a new, like, kind of like, one of those boutique, executive hotels. But, yeah, that was the last time he stayed the night with me. And then I left and I went to JFK and flew overseas. And that was it for he and I when I got back. But Juju, good man. Never had no problems with him at all. He ain't always cared for Kweli and his foolishness either. We talked about it. We talked about you, Talib. So what? I dated your best friend. How many women you done ran through their whole crew? I just dated your best friend. That was it. I wasn't ever going to date you again. So what did it matter if I kicked it with him? I wasn't losing nothing. But, call me crazy and tell me you gotta pray for me. You're so pathetic that you have to make bets on women's vaginas to win. Oh. He's a very sad person. Then when I saw what he did with Reese, it's like, you got an MO. What we have to do is we have to get real with each other. Remember that these people out here are just people. They're human beings. They ain't no different than your messed up cousin or your messed up aunt or your messed up this or your messed up that. They got the same problems. The only difference is they got the yes man syndrome. See, they heard no their whole life and now all they hear is yes, 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 yes. So like a foster child, they're going to take advantage of it. And that's what these guys do. They take advantage of women. They take advantage of the fact that you wouldn't be able to be near a woman like this if it wasn't for us being in this music and being on this bus, being in this music, being on this tour, being in the music, being in the studio. Like, and Me Too just skipped right over hip-hop. Like it didn't exist. Yeah. Kind of sad. Stop making bets on people's body parts, Talib. Stop doing that. So, Reek has appeal, but it becomes unattractive when you get to know the real him because he's self-loathing and he has issues with women. Clearly, he has issues with women. He's got all those children, all of these broken hearts, all of these scorned and spurred, and now you got your wife online pretending to be somebody else to try to stop old Jag from having something to say. But if what I have to say is the truth and it leads you to jail, then that's not my fault. I told the truth. You the one that went to jail. So, yeah, that's all I really got to say about that. So, the misogyny is out of control in the game. Well, I came in with the idea or the mindset that I wasn't going to let the industry change me. Which is why I walk away. See, I still have a regular life. I shop pool for teams. I cook for people. I develop products. I do this. I do that. Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada. Like, there's more to me than just a song. A lot more to me. And not everybody can say that. So, there we are. Be careful. Not only does he stalk, he places bets. He places bets. Sicko. Real sick. So, yeah. We'll talk more later. I gotta go work. Alright, bye.